Good evening, partner. Magandang
Good,
Martes ng gabi.
good evening, partner. And just like that, June 1 na, half year
Oo
na.
nga eh. Parang hinipan yung no, January to May. Particularly yung yung April and May, parang ang bilis, no? Sa gitna ng init ng tag-araw dito, grabe yung mga recording ng temperature sa Pilipinas.
Correct.
Parang no? Na-realize mo yung kahalagahan ng mga puno talaga. Napakainit no, sa Pilipinas. Diyan, kamusta sa Malaysia? Balitaan mo kami tungkol dyan sa Kuala Lumpur at sa Malaysia.
Ayun, June 1 until 14, they call it the full lockdown. So before, they call it MCO. Ngayon, full MCO, which is to me, it's like higpit mega plus ang gusto lang nilang palabasin. So non-essential services are not open. All lahat take away. Tapos actually jogging lang ang pwede mong gawin. Pero stay at home, yun talaga.
Yan nga, ulitin natin para sa mga nanonood sa atin, yan po dahil nang nag-Ramadan, talaga po nagkaroon ng mga pagsama-sama ng mga tao. So ina-emphasize natin parati dito, no, mag-iingat po tayo. Kasi minsan yung nakabalita lang ng bakuna, feeling nila nabakunahan na rin sila eh.
Correct.
Pag nakakita po tayo ng post ng nabakunahan, hindi po tayo damay doon. Ano po?
Oo. hindi siya sa Facebook nakukuha.
Hindi po siya pag nag-comment ka rin sa nagpapakuna eh, kasali ka na. Pag-ingat pa rin po tayo, no, at face mask, face shield, no, at para po tuloy-tuloy lang po yung ating wala pag-ease down ng ating lockdown. Yan, medyo nagluwag ng bagya sa Metro Manila, NCR Plus, pero ganun pa rin, no. Mas nagiging cautious yung government natin ngayon to really let go, no. So ngayon natuto siguro sila sa lesson nung Marso at nung Abril, no, yung wave nung nangyari doon. So ngayon medyo mas nagiging maingat. Sige, diretso tayo sa ating ang ganda ng episode natin last week, no? Nakaka-starstruck si Chinky, no? So ano ang laman ng iyong notebook? Ayan.
Ayun, ang aking notebook na short, sweet, but very insightful ang kanyang mga shinare na mga top 3 takeaways. First and foremost, underlying natin, I think relevant din this one for today without preempting. Have a clear purpose, vision, and goal to incessantly pursue. Then ask what legacy you want to leave behind.
Tama, no? Parang makita mo yung mga nag-guest po sa atin, parang pare-pareho po yung kanilang sinasabi, no? Purpose, vision, goal, and yun nga, dinagdag ni Chinky yung importansya ng legacy. No? Nagulat nga ako sa, gano'n na pala siya, 58 na pala siya, no? 57, sorry. 57 na pala siya, no? Pero batang-bata, no? I think it's because of what he does and the value he adds to other people. More than legacy yung kanya, no? It's something that's really, getting viral, no? And I'm happy for the man, no? Galing nung kanya, nung kanya
and admirable humility and hard work.
Yes, actually na-surprise ako last week kasi yung yung seryoso siya and he wanted to share something intimate and private, no? Yung buhay niya and his journey. So nakakatuwa. Maraming salamat po ulit, Mr. Chinky.
Yes, and then point 2 is what is wealth coaching? So wealth coaching is not just about the money. The approach must be holistic. It's about everything about valuable. What's valuable to you? Financial, mental, spiritual, physical, and social.
Yes, yung value is not defined as money. No? Yung money, actually, option lang yun eh. Pagka marami kang money, marami kang options. Pwede mong bilhin, pwede kang mag-invest, but he emphasized yung importansya ng, sa Tagalog, yung halaga. No? Value. No? Nagdadagdag ka ng halaga sa sarili mo so you can add value to others as well. And yung value also is something that gives you options in life. Kaya kanina lang pinag-usapan natin yan bago tayo magsimula, di ba? How do you create value for yourself that is remarkable and unique? Para kung mayroong mga pagbabago sa paligid mo, no? Hindi ka kasing vulnerable, ika nga.
And then the last point is the right way of thinking leads to a right way of living. Pursue significance and the money and success will follow.
Yan, 2 puntos. Unang-una, yung Triple H, no? Head, heart, and hand. Diba? Kaya nga yung Resto Coach, ang ating tagline, inspire the heart, empower the minds, and equip the hands of people. So pinatotohanan ng guest natin last time, no? He shared testimonials about, how people who are aligned in their way of thinking, we won't have a hard time, doing what is the right thing. Kasi tama yung frame of mind, no? And I think it's all about alignment. No? And speaking of which, no, yung ating excitement sa bisita nating gabi, nakasama ko to sa isang guesting, no? Namangha ako. No? Napakabata pa pero napakahusay. So sabi ko, one day, maglalakas loob akong i-message tong tao na to at imbitahin natin dito sa Coach and Share. No? Excited ako yung gabi. At ilabas niyo po ang dalawang notebook. No? Hindi po enough ang isang notebook dito. No? Marami po tayong mapupulot. And as always, no, napakaswerte natin. Because aside from our guest, nandito rin si Share, who is also a marketing expert. Sige, pakilala mo na, Share. Although nakaano na sa ating screen, pero syempre, kailangan natin ipakilala ang ating bisita.
Yes, we are more than happy and proud to have Mr. Edgar Allan Caper, Managing Director and Founder of Caper Group, and 2018 Agora Awardee Overseas Marketing Excellence.
Yeah, good evening, Edgar.
Good evening, Edgar.
Hello, good evening.
Yan. Edgar, bumati ka sa ating mga viewers. Ay, may lag yata.
Hello, hi sir. Hello,
Yes,
hi Sir Romel, She. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat and I'm so excited, I'm so grateful to be part of this advocacy and this, I think I should say that this is a very, very special endeavor of yours, no, Sir Romel and She. Kasi it's especially now, no, and the term resto coach is when you say a coach, it's a guide, and you don't actually wait for something in return. Kasi a coach is like that, eh. The coach just gives, listens, and guide people. So I'm very honored and I really feel elated to be part of this. So thank you sa lahat ng mga manonood. I assure you magiging masaya ang inyong gabi ngayon.
Yan.
Yan,
Yan,
gusto ko
nakita
yan.
mo. Parang mga ano lang ha, may garantiya yan. Kasi masaya ako nandito siya ngayon kasi nga, again, no, nag-guest kami pareho kay RJ before. Sabi ko, ang galing na itong, no, sorry, no, kasi mas matanda ko sa ito. Sabi ko, ang galing na itong batang to. Sabi ko, dahil kung naisulat. Kasi ako kahit may nag-guesting ako, diba, mayroong mga ibang guest din doon, nagno-notebook talaga ako eh. Kasi marami kang mapupulot eh. Samantalahin mo, di ba? So marami guys. So na-meet natin, Destin na nag-meet kami. And as I did a lot of research about this guy, and proud na Pinoy po tayo, no? At may mga nagme-message ka, no? Yung mga kaklase mo yata o ka-schoolmate mo, no? Sabi nila, excited sila for this episode. No?
Yeah.
So, head share, ano bang mga tatanong mo kay Brother Edgar? Tanong mo na.
Ayan, alam natin ang aking first favorite question of all time. Yung ating origin story. Please share with us your personal journey as a gold digger. Gusto ko yung term na yan, gold digger. From rising the ranks, no, di ba? Gold, ha? From rising the ranks as yung early days as a dishwasher to becoming the managing director of the Caper.
Yeah, so I prepared a very short slide, of course, para to make this sharing interesting to all of you, no? And of course, the purpose of me, of talking to all of you guys is to really inspire people that do not give up your dreams, your goal. Of course, the purpose of and so I'm gonna share the slides now. Hold on.
Yan ang marketing. Talagang may deck yan. May deck, diba?
Language of love namin.
So, habang in-prepare si Mr. Edgar Allan, no, babatiin natin yung ating mga regular. Kanina, pinag-usapan natin Singapore, ang ating kaklase. Si Carlito Ongle. Mr. Carl, magandang gabi sa'yo. Chef Jordan Bernardo, Matt Cafe, good luck sa inyo dyan. Of course, Unilever, Food Solutions, Pichi de la Cruz. Linggo-linggo yan, kasama si best friend Just Distrito. No? Ayan yung heart ni Just, talagang inaabangan natin yan. Juan Miguel Carlos, magandang gabi po sa iyo, sir. Magandang gabi po. Sherwin Julius De Leon Salangsang, magandang gabi sa iyo, sir. Paul John Veloso, good evening. Linggo-linggo rin po yan. At si John Paul San Juan, magkaklase yan dito sa The Resto Coach. Bernard Hauhoko, magandang gabi at magkita tayo bukas sa ating meeting. No? Mami Sid Pineda, of course, no? Binabati natin si Mami na kapag first dose of the vaccine na siya. So waiting for the second dose. Si Yam, syempre nanonood yung aking anak, samang aking mga apo. Estrelita Caper, maraming hatak yung ating bisita. Edgardo Caper, Estrelita Caper. Yan. Roms Nagas, Dayan Olbes, magandang gabi. Harvey Magnaya, magandang gabi sa'yo. MP Juning Naive, ito yung mga kaibigan nating nagbabarko. No? Nanonood din yan sa ating linggo-linggo. And of course, kaibigan nating si Dan Itchon, Tanchoko. Sige, kwento na natin yung journey.
Okay, so let's start. So I prepared a short slide for everyone. So the question is, what was really my journey? No, yes, I started as a dishwasher, and as you can see,
hindi ikaw yan, Edgar.
I know.
pero makikita mo naman ang nagagawa ng pera.
Grabe ka, hindi naman.
Nagagawa ng pagkain eh. Doon, pero
Ng pataba, ganun.
Payat ka lang payat ka lang, grabe ka. Namin kita na yung potential Kulang lang sa pagkain.
Okay.
Yan ang common namin kasi pareho kaming crew dati. Ako naman sa Jollibee.
Nag-Jollibee din ako, I think, macro kainta. And then, after 6 months, I transferred to Wendy's. And then after Wendy's, yes, I went to Pizza Hut. So
ito pangatlong trabaho mo na to.
Oh yeah, Pizza Hut was actually the third, no? Jollibee, I wasn't able to be regularized that time kasi dati nung time na yun, ang hirap ma-regular sa Jollibee.
Oo, totoo yun.
Oo, sobrang hirap ma-regular sa Jollibee. And then Wendy's, Wenfil pa noon, sila
Sir Puyat.
Secretary Pardo pa ang mga may-ari.
Pardo pala, sorry,
Pardo pa, no? Ngayon, it's owned by the Udena Group, I guess, no? And then, after Wendy's, I was a working student ako noon PUP ako noon, marketing. And then I was working with Wendy's. And then, in Pizza Hut, I've heard nga that it's they actually compensate the team members very well because there's a service charge. So may basic ka na, may service charge ka pa. So, and there was a mass hiring in Cubao, in Food Dome Cubao. I think that's like year 2000, 21 years ago. So, there's a height requirement. They own mga tinatanggap nila mga good-looking people. So, I just tried. I'd like to believe na hindi naman ako ganun kapangitan. Pero, 5'5" lang ako noon Kasi yun ang nila ang sukatan nila. Oo. So, hindi pa ako natanggap. No? Dalawa kami ng classmate ko pumunta sa Food Dome. Yung kaklase ko, ako yung top of the class. Pero yung kaklase ko, nakapasok na. So meaning, sabi ko, hindi pwedeng hindi ako matanggap dito. Kasi actually, sinabi, ay, anong height mo? Hindi ka 5'5". Bumalik ka na lang pag lumaki ka na. Ganun ang... ganun yung sabi.
Nung araw, pwede pa yun
Oo, sabi ko, ay, hindi.
Bawal.
Nagpili talaga ako. From that very experience, I didn't give up already because I had a goal in mind na I have to be in this company. And that's what I pursued it. Sabi ko doon sa HR na nag-hire, sabi ko, ma'am, hindi po pwede. Anong hindi po pwede? Ako nagsasabi dito kung sino papasok at hindi. Sabi niya ganyan, ma'am, kaya nga po hindi po pwede kasi ma'am, kailangan ko po ng trabaho at hindi po kayo magsisisi sa akin. Ma'am, ang dami ko nang pinagsabi. Nakulitan siya kasi mahaba yung pila Sabi ko, ma'am, hindi po ako aalis pag hindi niyo po ako papasukin. So, halika, sige na nga, pumasok ka na. And that's the start of, And then, nung naging, na ako, crew na ako, so nakikita niya ako sa store and sa head office, lagi niya akong binabate, and we were really close. We became close friends. And then, when I started as a dishwasher, yes, and sa umaga ako mag-open ng Santa Lucia, Pizza Hut Santa Lucia, and then baga-out ako ng alas 12, klase ko sa PUP alauna hanggang alas 7. Oo, so ganun ganun yung buhay ko noon, and nakita nyo naman mukha akong unggoy kasi ang payat-payat ko So nilalagari ko talaga ang kahabaan ng E. Rodriguez Aurora Boulevard hanggang Riles.
Tama.
So, yan ang nilalagari ko. And then, after, I think, after a year, there was a work competition, a work Olympics, no? So, that is being participated by hundreds of different servers and, cooks in Pizza Hut. So, I was a server, and lumaban ako doon. Luckily, I won, the whole Philippines, and the winner will be representing the country to the Asia Work Olympics. They call it Champs Challenge. So we went to Malaysia in Sabah, Malaysia. That's in Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia. So we went there. Korea was a long-time champion for that competition, and during that year, we snatched the crown from them. So we were really, really good, no? That team. So when I got back in the Philippines after that competition, I was advised that I'd be promoted after a week as the supervisor. By that time, I was the youngest supervisor of Pizza Hut at that time, but I'm still studying. Actually, I turned it down because my priority was to get honors in college, no, and that was really my goal. And when I get into PUP, kasi of course it's a state university, and I know for a fact that it's only, the top big four universities only gets the job na medyo maganda, no? So medyo priority sila nun may mga ganyan eh. So I told myself that I have to graduate with honors because I'm coming from a state university, and I'd like to make sure that I will land a perfect job because I wanted to have my family. So that was the mindset, no? But the HR, that girl who actually hired me when I was a crew, told me that the VP of HR wanted to talk to me about that, no? And then what they did was to arrange my schedule. Kasi sabi ko, kasi the managerial job, the supervisory job was an 8-hour job, and I'm studying. So what they did is they circumvented, they made ways for me to fit in the 8 hours. So I'm gonna open Plaza Fair Pizza Hut and then go to school up until 7 in the evening, and then I'm gonna close Pizza Hut Farmers. So I have 4 hours, so book ends, no?
Split siya.
Split schedule. So that was like third year, fourth year. But I was earning well. I was able to, help my family already that time. And that was like a feat, no? And then that was my journey in a student. And then when I was in fourth year, there was Agora Youth Awards of PMA was there. I was an org president of the Junior Marketing Association of my school.
PMA.
And being a president, it was a culture or a tradition that the president actually compete in that Agora Youth competition. So I wanted to get that, and luckily I got the valedictorian award. I was competing with the top 4 universities, and that's UP, Ateneo, LaSalle, and UST. No? I was valedictorian, and si Faith Abanyo was the chair of that Youth and Academe of PMA, Sir Romel, and nung time na yon, she shared with me the reason why the judges chose me to be the valedictorian is because I was a working student, and I was running for honors, and I was the president of the organization, and that made them realize that is a very well-rounded person, and they said I can multitask and being ace in all of those fields. So yeah, so that was really something that I'm really very proud of in 2003. And then back to Pizza Hut, they saw my face in the newspaper. I was an awardee of Agora Youth. They took me out from the operations, and let's bring this kid to head office in marketing. That's when I started my marketing stint. So
Destiny.
it was, yeah. So
Makes you stand out eh. Mm-hmm.
So that was really the story. And then from then on, it started my marketing career. No, because Pizza Hut is an Araneta Group company, so Mr. Araneta handpicked me to handle the food courts in Araneta Center and some other new businesses. So they call it developing concepts. And then right after that, I handled the other segments of Pizza Hut, which is also the slice and all. So after that, I was offered a job with the Hortaleza Group to be retail marketing manager for HBC. And then I started there. I worked there for 4 years, no, and I ended up to be the youngest AVP. I was 26 years old. I was assistant vice president for marketing for retail. And I'm gonna share with you later, my one of my biggest campaigns that I did for HBC as well. So that's a homegrown brand. And then after 4 years, I got invited again by Pizza Hut. So if because the VP of marketing is a good friend of mine, I think she's listening as well. Hi, Elaine. And they invited me to go back because they're like looking for because she's retiring, I think, that time. So they're looking for a very good number two who can actually deal, I think, with the COO Lars Peterson and Mr. Araneta. But of course, I had experience already, so it's easier to if they get somebody who's
Familiar.
in the culture already. So so I heeded, and I became a senior marketing manager there. And I was handling advertising and promotion. So all TVCs, all campaigns for Pizza Hut is, I've handled that. This picture in Pizza Hut, this is when we launched the Hot on the Dot, the Hate Late campaign as well. So that's part. I'm actually part of the team who actually made that happen. And by the time that my boss Elaine retired, I also resigned because Max's Fried Chicken invited me to be the marketing director for global kasi buong Max's sa buong mundo eh. So that that excites me and I was 30 years old. So I was offered a director position and I got it for after 2 years and it wasn't I'm gonna tell for where I am now, this is not all because of your high flat, di ba, high collar, yung lahat success, hindi lahat yon. With Max's, I had a little bit of bumps there. That's why I only stayed there for 2 years. We had a mismatch in I think in culture because I was trying to introduce a new chicken, because I was young, I wanted to innovate the brand. And I think there was a challenge there with approvals with the matriarch about a new chicken to be introduced because I wanted to touch the core, which is the sarap to the bones fried chicken. I wanted to infuse flavor in that. Para sana there's a classic and there's something that the millennials would want to get.
Flavors, so totoo yun.
The chicken. So it was a good idea, but yeah, I think there was a misalignment there, and and there's a lot of stories there, and I left Max's, and then right after that, I didn't know where to go. I have little money in the bank. I was suddenly I was busy yesterday, and then suddenly I'm like nothing to do, so I started to put up my own food cart, because I thought I'd be very good at because I was food service, but I tried. At least I tried to be an entrepreneur with, and then it's called Snack That. I had a business partner there as well, and the mission of that was to really provide convenience and affordable, quick fix food in for people on the go. So the idea was to just put that in terminals, hospitals, supermarkets, where people are just waiting and on the go, and prices are not higher than 50 pesos. It was just okay, no? Of course, when you had a food service company, this, Romel, that you have to put your 200%, not just 100%.
Attention to detail yan.
Yes,
Typical also ang food business.
Mula sa pamamalengke hanggang sa pag-food costing, ikaw lahat din yan lalo na startup ka, di ba? So that was really hard. And namamalengke ako sa Nepa Q-Mart kasi medyo mura dun yung mga fishbowl. So parang I just, I saw myself in the palengke and I was like asking myself, like, is this something that you really want to do, Edgar? I know this is not as glamorous of being a director or whatnot. And I just, I was blank for a while, and I asked myself, where will I go? What do I really want to do? No? And I went to St. Jude with my boyfriend, then now my husband. He brought me to St. Jude. Let's ask for guidance and divine intervention and all. So we prayed, and then I wanted to put up my own because I'm really good in marketing. So why don't we just put a marketing firm or whatnot? But before that, in St. Jude. Because I sent out my resumes again. I told myself I'm just gonna go back to the corporate world. No, it's the money that I get from the 3 food carts that I have is not enough even to actually pay my amortizations for the car, for the house, and all and things like that. So that's a one good advice I'm gonna tell you. So if you are going to be an entrepreneur, make sure when you leave the corporate job, the amount of money that you get from the business is able to compensate what you need financially para hindi ka na-disorient. So yeah, that's one good lesson that I learned. Sabi ko kay St. Jude, yung unang tatawag sa akin would be my choice where to go. And then there was a call from Guam. And the call was from Lars Peterson, who was our ex-COO in Pizza Hut. And he called me and he said, you know what, Edgar? I called Grace Magno, who's the VP of marketing of SM. And because we were all good friends, and Grace also was my former boss in Pizza Hut. So, you know, Edgar, I called Grace and I was looking for the Edgar of Guam because I wanted to, you know, to work with somebody like you. So, and then she told me, why don't I hire you? Because you left Maxis and, you know, and you're free. So that was the call right after our St. Jude. So I think that's divine intervention. And yeah, but during that time, that day, second call was from Mr. Archie Rodriguez of I Have Philippines. That time, that's when they are starting up in the Philippines. So I got confused kasi parang there's Guam and then I'm gonna leave my family here and I'm gonna work there or whatnot. May mga ganun na akong ano. So I got confused because with I Have, it was also a good offer. But at the end of the day, what I told, my challenge was like, I prayed the first one who to call, yun. So and then I heeded. I went to Guam. So I started there. So with Guam, it's been running almost 8 years with Guam. I started as a consultant and now I'm a full-time marketing director to them. But I told Lars that I plan to put up my business here in the Philippines with a marketing consulting firm because that's when the time the industry knew about I'm putting up a consulting firm and then, you know, people are actually starting to call. And then he said, it's okay. You just spend, you know, maybe 1 month here and then another month there. You just go in and out because it's a small market anyway. And actually he said, I'm used to running like 100 chain restaurants. So it's going to be easy for me, but it wasn't really a walk in the park actually, because you're turning around the brand. So yeah, so until now I'm still a marketing director, and then, you know, I'm managing director of Caper Group. And this was my picture when I was back in 2003 being an Agora Youth Awardee. Here's my beloved teacher, Sumalangit Nawa, and I know, but she's happy now. And this is now me, and after 15 years, no, coming full circle with Agora Awards.
Galing, no? As a student and then as a professional. Highlight ko lang, Edgar, no? Para sa ating mga viewers, highlight ko lang. Ang mga dapat po nating isulat sa ating notebook, yung commitment to excellence, no? Hindi po natsatsambahan kasi nakita niyo po yung kwento niya, no? I'd like to highlight some some important points, no? You know, the name Lars came up early in the career. Kung hindi po siya nagtanim ng magandang punla, ika nga, no? Through his commitment to excellence, no, the results of his work, his track record, no, all of the great things that he did for Lars. Sabi nga ni Lars nung nandun siya sa Guam, I need an Edgar for Guam, no? And nakakatuwa na si Edgar mismo yung available.
Yes, mismo.
So, to look for copycat, no? You got the original Edgar. So totoo po yun. I believe in that as well, Edgar, no? Kailangan po yung lahat ng touch points natin positive, no? May iniiwan po tayong marka. At nakikita ng tao yung ating commitment to excellence. Para pag nagkaroon ng pagkakataon, naghahanap ng katulad natin, di ba? Yung value ay napakalinaw, di ba? Na ang hahanapin ko ay kagaya ni Edgar, di ba?
Oo. So, gusto ko din, Coach, just to build on, ano siya you define your limitations. Wala akong narinig dun sa part na baka hindi ko kaya. Ano talaga gusto ko, ginusto ko, pinursu ko. So, di ba, you're the master of your life Kumbaga yun nga yung goal talagang from the very beginning, from your very, very young, at a very young age, yun na
Malinaw
yung
sa kanya kung ano yung yung goal, diba? Sabi nga niya, he's a goal setter, he's also a goal getter, and sabi nga niya, goal digger, diba? Yung goal, yung kahalagahan po ng goal, kasi napakaraming tao po, pag tinanong natin, ano bang goal mo sa buhay? Hindi masagot eh. Ito, at an early age, diba? Gusto ko pumasok dyan sa company niyan, may service charge dyan. Diba?
Yeah.
Ang linaw eh. Gusto ko maging director, gusto ko maging AVP, no? Hindi nangyayari po yun by accident. Lahat po yun, para pong totoo po yan, yung natural law, you have to plant for you to harvest. Hindi po pwedeng mag-harvest. Pag nag-harvest po tayo nang di tayo nagtanim, iba po nagtanim nung hina-harvest natin.
Nakaw po tawag doon.
Delikado po yun. Papatiin lang natin yung mga fans ni, ni Edgar. Ang dami, no?
Oo.
Del Martinez, magandang gabi po sa inyo. No? Nabati natin. Tapos, ito si Ichires Ferrer. Happy birthday, brother, ha? Birthday din isang araw to. Proud of you, Edgar Allan Caper, watching and listening here on your insightful journey. Annalisa Manansan po yan. No? Ito ay mga, si Maria Lencia, ako linggo-linggo at nag-share pa to. Magandang gabi sa iyo. Merly Miranda, magandang gabi rin po sa inyo. No? At si Chef Jun de Guzman, condolences sa pamilya ni Chef Jun. No? His brother passed away. So, condolences po. At syempre sa pamilya natin sa Bataan na my uncle passed away. So, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga nakikiramay. At nagdarasal, marami rin naitulungang tao po yan si Uncle Cesar ko. No? So, again, rest in peace, Uncle, and we love you. Arlos Torrejas and Estopa, ang daming nagka-interest sa topic natin tonight. Monica Bautista Pascual. And again, may mga di po nakakapanood ng live, natutuwa po kami dahil pinapanood nyo po yung replay at sinishare nyo. Sa lahat po ng mga nagsishare at nanonood ng video natin after the live, maraming salamat po. Sige, sa pagpapatuloy. Ako, nakaka-excite tong ating
Nakaka-excite. Ayun. So yung second question is what are the crucial elements when developing and pursuing a goal?
Okay. Unmute na ba ako? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, very crucial is I have some tips here, and so these are the brands that I've handled for the past 20 years. So I'm running this company. It's called Caper Group. So we've helped more than 20 big brands. No, notable brands are these brands now. Chiba of Margarita Forest. Of course, I also handle LA Girl. I actually sit as a part of an independent board for LA Girl. Mercato Central, actually the Mercato United Kitchen, which we also be launching this July. It's a cloud kitchen for food incubators. Goldilocks is also a client of ours. We have Kukuruku and Zubuchon, of course. And the newest addition to our portfolio is the Chokna. So
wow, classic yan.
Yeah, heritage brand. So we're very excited about this collaboration that we're going to do with Choknat. No? We're actually a food service marketing partner for Choknat. So we're doing some efforts with the spreads that they're gonna launch. So that's just some of the project that we're gonna do with them. Well, personally, I'm actually 40 years old. I just turned 40, and I'm married. I'm a member of the LGBT. James is my husband. We have 2 kids, si Aki and Yuki, and then we married in New Zealand. And this is my family. My mom is an Ilocana Plain housewife, and my dad is at Ilonggo from Bacolod, who's an OFW. So that's me personally. So your question, what's crucial, no? In setting the goal, I yung sinabi ni Sir Romel that it didn't really happen overnight, and pinaghirapan yun eh. And the goal, when I set a goal, I actually visualize it always. And that law of attraction yan eh. My notebook, alam mo yung filler ng Cattleya, no? That's my notebook in college.
Classic yun.
Yeah. In the first page of my notebook, I actually write there my goal. My goal was to really be a magna cum laude and an Agora Youth Awardee, like a Sunny marketing student. So every time I browse, no, I actually make it a point that the subjects that I'm not good at, especially accounting, math, algebra, and all, I put that there so that it will remind me that I have to do well. Make sure that I'm gonna do well. And it's no joke. It's if I can still find my notebook, I would really show this to people. And I really did it. I wrote all that 2 goals in my life. And yeah, so this one, I'm a very, very conceptual person. And I came across with this ikigai, I think, when I was 32 years old. And 32, 33 years old. No, and I just tried filling it up because people, a lot of us would ask ourselves, what's your purpose in life? No? And purpose kasi, it's very deep. And that's about essence. Eh. And essence actually differs from every stage of your life. I would like to believe that it's like that. But at least you have a very good foundation if you're gonna follow this ikigai framework. No? So I just define what are the things that I love doing and what I'm really great at, so that I'm not gonna be derailed. So, and then you are paid for it and what the world needs. No, with that I can actually draw what's really my passion, what's my mission and profession and vocation. So I tried filling that up. No? And I fill that up because I love food, I love shopping, I love traveling, and that's really what I love doing. No? So because I'm a sucker of beautiful things, I was deprived with branded stuff, so I'd be very blunt about it. But so now I'd like shopping, because I'm a marketer, so I wanted to have beautiful things, and I think I'm really great in marketing and dealing with people. I think I command presence when I actually speak and talk about in front of people. So so I'm actually paid being a marketing professional, and I believe the world needs is like I inspiration to the youth, and family and help enterprises, and the world needs kindness. So these 3 things that I defined are the most I think that I can help the world. So when I combine the things that I love and I'm great at it, it's about marketing and food retail. So that's my passion. So me, I'm like, kapag outside na of, there's a client of mine that was offering me to be a consultant for aeronautics things. So parang airplane. Yung mga alam ko doon. Diba? So parang me, I just okay. So this is my core, and this is something that I would study. So that's the way I really choose, no? And me, I'm very careful. I choose my clients. For example, it's not all clients that actually comes with me, I say yes. I really choose the clients that, who feels that, mafe-feel mo yun if they believe in you. If they believe in you, then you have a relationship already. So I'm very careful with that. So putting together the things that I'm great at and I'm paid for it. Now I'm a business owner and a marketing director, so that's my profession. And combining me being what I'm being paid and the world needs as a vocation. So, for example, I wanted to inspire youth and the families in what I do, like branding, brand building, marketing. I had an advocacy, so I put up CG events, caper group events. And the objective of that is to help, and it's an it's an education augmentation, or it's a supplement, I think, because there's no curriculum in the school that helps the students, the graduating students, to prepare them in the corporate world on top of the on-the-job training. But in the OJTs kasi, the OJTs are just given meager tasks that that was an experience. Di ba? Iilan lang naman ng maswerteng binibigyan ng opportunities na makapagtrabaho ng hands-on, during OJT, because people won't believe in you. So me, like I put up CG events to and we started that with FEU last year. Kaya lang na kami ng pandemic. So we're like nag-iisip kami ngayon how to do things like this, online, and I actually we call it ready set work. So we invite the graduating students, and I gather the thought leaders in different industries, those who came from the ranks, and share their experiences during their first stint in the corporate world. So so that these people, kasi sinasabi nila ngayon, millennials are really hard to handle. It is true, no? Because I think the millennials now are the ones that are really, really taking good care of their parents, because the parents naman and the generation X or Y are the ones that who really suffered the most, no? Martial law and mga ganon, no? So ayaw nila ma-experience sa mga anak nila yan. Yan ang product niyan, millennials. So pampered yung mga yan. So the idealism and realism actually doesn't meet in the middle. So parang we wanted to explain that to these young people, and that was part of the vocation that we're actually doing, no? And the things that I love and the world needs is, I want to help enterprises to be great brands, both in food and retail. And so that's why we put up a marketing company to help SMEs, and that's Caper Group. No? So there. So when you coagulate everything, so you got your purpose, no? A little bit of purpose, and the purpose that I wanted to for me, the
Grabe
purpose is
talaga to. Yung master
it's
plan
really
niyo.
when you put that together, kasi it's sabi ko nga, the purpose is actually differs in every stage of your life. So
I agree with that.
now in your stage of your life, di ba? So parang you wanted to help and all, but of course, at the end of the day, rationally, you wanted to help your family first, and before you go outside of the family. That's and for me, that's my purpose now. So one tip that I would like to share is that you have to visualize everything, like very conceptual, just like I did a 30-year master plan. It wasn't just me, no? Together with my
Iba to.
Yan po. Pang grand finals po yan, no? Kasi napakagaling.
Yeah, so
napakagandang framework, ano? Sandali, ipapaliwanag ko lang sa mga nanonood kung ano tong nakikita natin. No? Talagang, ito, nakakatuwa po ito, no? Kasi po, very tangible, very visual. Kung ang tanong nyo, anong ginagawa ng mga successful, ano? At saka yung mga hindi lang successful, significant pa, no? Yung contribution. Ayan po, 30-year master plan, no? Dinaig pa yung Metro Manila, no? Yung Metro Manila, walang master plan na nasunod. So ito, merong continuity. Sige nga, Brother Edgar, can you explain and inspire? Yan. Sige, go ahead.
Yeah, kasi parang we've I had a study in Ateneo, the Leadership Development and Management Program. I was sent by Doctora Hortaleza. Doctora, thank you for sending me there. And it opened a lot of things for me, no? And there's a lot of principles that I've learned as well, that you have to visualize everything and things like that. You have to make a framework. So that's in business. But why don't I apply that in my life, no? So me with my husband, we put this together. My age that time was 33 years old. And my husband was 24 years old that time. And I'm 40 now. So we're running 7 years now with this plan. And every year we do an annual life planning, and we update this every now and then. No? And what you see here is like savings, how much money you need to make, or the savings in the bank. What are the things you wanted to do? These are really like a bucket list that you wanted to put that visually, no? So say for example, here there's like charity work when I turned 54. When I turned 45, I want to wind down. And I wanted to spend my time with my parents, my aging parents. And as you can see here, there's the age of my mom and my dad, and the dad of my husband and his mom. And there's the age of my youngest sister here. Now she graduated. She had a asawa na, so wala na akong paki sa kanya. And then so ganon. So everything is planado here. And when I reach 45, my husband is 36. We want to wind down, spend the time with my parents. So because, and they're like 70 that time already, and we wanted to really spend with them, maybe a cruise or whatnot, and just that's actually part of our plan. And for us, we wanted to invest with that, and we wanted to give the best life for our parents. And being members of the LGBTQ, wala naman kaming anak, so I think God has put us in this situation, because if we have a choice, we wanted to be straight people, but it is what it is. So maybe that's the purpose of it, no? And then right after that, I wanted to go back again. There's an early retirement, second wave career or whatnot, and then we want, makikita nyo dyan, it's very specific to what car I want, the countries we want to go, by 50 years, di ba? So what ito, merong family hanggang Medicare. So when I'm 63, siguro I need medical attention. This is my birth. So this is up until 65 years old or me, no? So this is how detailed a 30-year master plan is. And guys, hindi naman sinasabing kailangan sundin to. Ang sa akin is, may nakikita ka no? Every year. Asan ka na ba? So there's like progress, you see it, di ba? And it inspires you actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meron kang why, no? Yung motivation. Actually, yun yung
There's
highlight natin parate, no? Yung sinasabi natin, yung 5 things that, no other people can give to you but yourself. Di ba? Attitude of gratitude, discipline, motivation. Yan po yung example ng visual motivation na pinapakita. And then, dahil sa motivation na yun, nadi-deliver niya yung pang-apat, which is commitment to excellence. And if I may say so, yung pang-5, which is accountability, no, he's holding himself accountable dun sa mga tao sa buhay niya, di ba? Nakita niyo yung mga pangalan nila ron, di ba? Nakalagay rin. So may accountability rin po sa hindi lang sa sarili, sa partner, sa pamilya, sa lipunan, no? So napakagandang chart. And for those who are watching it, kindly share this link para sa makapanood din po ng mas maraming tao yung napakagandang episode.
Thank you, Sir Ruben.
I really like it, Edgar, kasi when I saw your framework, kasi usually 'di ba sa brands may long range plan, 5 years lang eh. So you have 30 years. But honestly speaking, when you said you were an entrepreneur, I think you still are, because whatever you learned in the corporate world, you applied in your life. Your life is your business, kumbaga. And I think you're doing beautifully kasi with that planning out, naalala ko yung minsan yung mga magulang natin ang laging tanong is, ano bang plano mo sa buhay? Gusto ko masagot mo ng, ito po, meron.
Discuss po natin, paki-ready lang yung slides. Yan.
Ayun.
Saya no?
Whatever you've learned in corporate, you've applied.
Yung ilaw, pakipatay, sisindihan lang natin po yung screen. Papakita natin. Ito po, tanong nyo, no? Ano po ang plano ko sa buhay? Screen lang po natin.
Ganda!
Diba? Galing na bata talaga to. Here, talagang nakaka-proud na makilala no? Galing.
Thank you. I'm so grateful with this life, no. Before kasi I'm asking myself why I'm the one who needs to support my family, and I've come to accept that when I was 30 years old, 32, because not all are being blessed with opportunities. And I believe kasi doon tayo hindi equal talaga eh. We all have 24 hours in our life. That's the only thing that we're equal. Now, if you're blessed with a lot of opportunities, that's meaning whatever opportunities you have, of course you have to pick and choose, no? But me, if there's an opportunity, kasi I grab it first eh. And then saka na, bahala na yung and I will figure it out how to make that work. But at the end of the day, I still have that opportunity because I grabbed it. There will be no regret because you don't want to live old with a lot of regrets in life. So those are the things that I'm always thinking, and I come to accept that I have to support my family. I have to help them because I'm the most blessed in the sibling. So I think it's something that I really wanted to share to people, that you don't, please stop asking yourself why you need to support your family, because you're blessed. And if there's problem and things like that, I know God will actually give you something, and He will basta maging mabuti ka lang. So there, summarizing it, putting it all together, me, because I know myself. So first is have to know yourself, your purpose, and always be yourself. So there's no better way of version of yourself but being true to yourself. Setting goals, it's very important, and you should always have that organized efforts and value timing. And then resilience in times of setbacks and defeats. As I told you, it's not all beds of roses. I had a lot, and minsan kasi, well, it's human nature that people are really you call this judgmental. No, people judge you by the things that you've done in the past. But remember always that the past doesn't actually define you as a person. It's the choices that you make defines you as a person. So you have to be careful with your choice, and the future is ahead. And you still have time to improve yourself. If you have made mistakes in the past, that is still you. But at the end of the day, there's a lesson there. And what's more important is that there's a future ahead of you. Make it better. And that's what I did, because I also had a lot of big mistakes, no, financially and all. But for me, I told myself, why will I cry over that, no? And I have to improve myself. So yeah, being resilient, and more important is reinventing yourself with consistency in good work, ethics, attitude, and character. That's what Sir Romel said kanina. I think kung hindi ako nag-invest ng magandang work ethics ko, attitude ko, wala rin naman ako mapupuntahan. And being smart is the new sexy. So strive to know a little bit of everything. So dapat ngayon very generalist na, but of course at the end of the day you have this specialization, but strive to know a little bit of everything. So yun ang mga tips ko. Share.
Ayun. Ang next naman natin, tell us your favorite stories pagdating dun sa successful initiatives that lead to your path na growing local as well as global brands. You mentioned a lot of really notable brands.
I wanted to share this. This is with Max's Fried Chicken. This was the time that so it's a homegrown brand, but it is considered to be a global brand because it's present to several countries already. And mind you, they're one of the most successful franchisors of a Filipino brand in the United States. No, so I had an opportunity of handling the branches in the United States as well, from Hawaii to LA to Las Vegas, San Francisco. So this was the time that we were challenged as a heritage brand. The challenge is to make it younger. Max's being like, I think this is 65 years old, I think, at the time. So it was Piolo Pascual who was the incumbent endorser. So we had a research, and of course during that time, Coco Martin was one of the. Actually, he was the top choice, for the brand, and there was a very nice story because he was an ex-crew of Max's Fried Chicken. So we wanted to play with that story. And that's, this is the commercial that I actually did with Max's that time.
Gaano kasarap ang mahalaga ang pagsimula. Tsaga, marami kang makikilala. Darating yung pinakalam mo. Yung pinangarap mo. Ang sarap. Sa uli, matitikman mo ang tamis. Yan ang kwento ko at ng Max. Marami pa akong kwento. Abangan ninyo, ha?
Yeah, so that's one of the best campaigns that I did. Yeah, for Max's. One best lesson or big lessons that I've learned from my previous boss, Elaine Guzman and Grace Magdo, is to collaboratively work with the agency and not just let their creative director run the show in terms of, because at the end of the day, if you let your creative agency just run it, it will just be after the awards. And and the awards doesn't actually bring money to the business. So me, I'm very lucky to have worked with Merly Jaime here of DM9, and I just told them that my vision here is I wanted to deliver this X amounts of sale. There's a number always in all the campaigns that I did for homegrown brands. So with this, I just wanted okay, ayoko naman na sumikat masyado si Coco, but of course at the end of the day, dapat equal billing sila ni Max's at yung pagkain. So that's what they did. Food, mukha niya. So it's really, really well balanced. No? So we posted a 12% growth during this campaign. And it's a thematic campaign. And yeah, so that's one of my favorite. And I think this was the sequel of that campaign. Kasi sabi niya, abangan mo eh.
Wala, may problema.
Eto, baka sakaling matupad ang pangarap mo.
Sige na nga, Dayan. Yes, after this, naalay ko po itong preparing ito para sa pinakamamahal ko. Gorilla. Paano? Pakinggan niyo po sandali. Dayan?
Oo!
Hotel na lang. Ano pa, Dave? Salamat. Ako po si Coco Martin at ito po ang istorya ko.
Yeah, so that was a sequel. It was a very nice sequel for, it was heartwarming because Maxis is all about that. Of course, brands now really try to really make it younger because there's like K-pop and also that's a different story. So that's one of the best campaigns that I did for Maxis. The next I think is this is with the Hortalezas, no? With HBC.
Pagpasok ko lang,
Exclusive ang gandang araw. Talagang in tayo. Meron pang free facials at makeover. Exclusive value. Kaya enjoy mag-shopping dito.
at sa exclusive promos, lahat tayo panalo.
Sama-sama sa HBC Exclusive.
Lahat tayo.
HBC.
So the lesson here is with Maxis is being true to the brand essence and translate it to make it younger and use I'm a believer of endorsers kasi. So I because especially Filipinos are really into artistas, so that's really a culture thing. So with HBC that time we wanted to elevate the image of the brand, so we've used Ann Curtis and Richard. So the lesson there was like we wanted to really get the masses. So we got the #1 artist in channel 2 and channel 7 with Richard that time, and then Ann Curtis with channel 2. So we wanted to merge that. So that was the lesson there, and and MYMP sang the jingle, so it all tied in together. So it really elevated the brand, and now for a global brand like KFC, in KFC, since it's a small market, I just wanted to share the things that we've done. No, we revamped. So I'm with KFC for like 8 years, and in 2014 when I came in, we revamped the brand, and 2015 the goal was to drive one more time visit. Kasi if a customer actually visits twice a month, if they visited one more month, that's 20% growth already. So that was my focus that time. So driving one more time visit. So by innovation, value, and variety. In 2016, we drive the core. So we wanted to remind people why they love KFC. So that's all about, of course, the original recipe chicken, and then keeping up the times with the sustainable growth via innovation. That's what I did. And 2018 is making the brand very distinct. We played around with Colonel Sanders again. We renovated the branches. So it wasn't all just about marketing. It has assets. The operations and marketing has to be, instinct. No, so that's the things that I did for KFC. Now, to your question, what's the difference in running a global brand and a homegrown brand? So just to summarize it, running a global brand is you're part of a big machine. So meaning you're like a screw. So kapag pumalya ka dyan, medyo masisira yung machine, di ba? So because it is a global brand is run, of course, by the big wigs in the global food restaurant industry, and just like KFC and Pizza, it's being run by Yum. So the objective for a global brand is to make the brand relevant to the local culture. So that's why they call the local. Now for homegrown brands, you are the machine because you dictate everything. So it is zero to something. So you have to be, you have to be very creative. And the objective here is to be nationally competitive and globally ready. And that was the intent for Maxis and HBC, and now the brands that I handle now in Caper Group. So there siya.
Nice.
So bago natin ituloy, share, binabati lang si Edgar ng kanyang namesake at tatay, no? Proud father, si Mr. Edgardo Caper. So proud of you, son. You are right. Masaya ang gabi namin listening to your talk. It's awesome.
Love
Yan.
you.
So,
See you
nagabi po,
tomorrow.
sir. Ha?
Yeah, it's my mom's birthday tomorrow, so I want to greet her. Happy birthday,
Happy
mom.
birthday po.
Happy birthday po.
At syempre, mga kaibigan din natin dito, of course, from Australia, Donald Tenorio and Chef Genevieve Tenorio, along with Inigo and Aliana. Magandang gabi sa inyo. May ko alam kung anong oras ngayon dyan. No? And si Jose Ray Caliboso, magandang gabi po. Chris Guillermo, no? Kilala niyan to si Chris Dayan Guillermo. Kilala ni Mr. Edgar Allan Caper din
Oh
yan.
yes, hi Chris.
Erwin Lancero, of course, isang proud PUP yan, no? Sabi niya na nag-abang ng episode na to.
Hello.
And Roniel Salangsang, magandang gabi sa mga taga Valenzuela. Enzo Di Maano, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. At Emily, no? My cousin Emily from the States, magandang gabi sa inyo dyan. And thank you for supporting the show. And lahat po ng kaibigan natin naman sa Las Vegas, Jake and Tina Castro, si Norman Zamora. Ang kaibigan si Norman Zamora, magandang gabi po, sir. At sa inyong panonood, thank you very much.
Ayan, so itatayin ko na yung ating two questions. Yung please share with us your top business management and brand building insights. And very relevant to, pandemic-proof practical tips for food and restaurant negosyantes. And ease into yung advice you can give on aspiring to start or grow their career in brand marketing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I-3-in-1 na natin yan.
Oo, yes.
I will just start with, the tips for food and resto negosyantes for yung pandemic proof. So, okay, for food restos, no, what I wanted to tell you guys is, we heard a lot of things about pivoting, no? The word pivot. You need to pivot, make it pandemic proof and all. So, just one good example that we did is for Chibo, that because we know that we realized that pag pandemic, it's the retailers who are the winners. No? So the grocery stores, the supermarkets, and of course the drugstores. Sila lang ang winners ngayon. And then the telco, of course. But for the food service resto, as in, our sales are like 20% level of pre-COVID. And we cannot actually make money with the 20%. And it was so hard. So what we did is when you pivot, make it more strategic, meaning make an effort that it is sustainable. So one good example is when we extended the muscles of Chibo to the retail shops. Well, as you can see, some of the restaurants have sold their items in the grocery stores. But most of them these are move out plans, meaning they have a lot of stocks, they need to move it out. And then the grocery stores were very keen in welcoming them inside, like of course the Jollibee Chicken Joy and all, it's there, di ba? Yung mga marinated chicken, because it's a move out plan, masisira. But that's not a pivot, it's a move out plan. So don't be mistaken with that. So a pivot is, for example, what Manam Group did, no? They actually launched products in the retail shops. Like in 7-Eleven, and that's one good way of a pivot, example of a pivot. And we did that exactly with Chibo. We made our product available in some retail shops, and we've launched the Chibo Pizza Romana frozen pizzas. The idea there is when you pivot and launch something in the retail product, make sure that first, number one, you have a brand equity already, so that people would know you already if it's in the shelf. Number two, to make it more sustainable, don't offer something that is not in the that's in the restaurant, so that there's differentiation. So what we did for Chibo is we offered the Pizza Romana, which is not available in the restaurant, but we are leveraging on the equity of Chibo and Margarita Forest. So that was pretty successful. We were earning a decent money from that, and of course thanks to Madam Robina Gokongwei for giving us an opportunity for this. And now I'm helping Zubuchon to make their frozen lechon available as well in the retail shops, and we just launched last week. And that's what my company actually does to actually help you pivot, no? So those are pandemic proof. And I'm telling you, it's all omni channels now. We know that. The aggregators are actually ripping us off with their commissions, but of course they also need to make money. But I'll just be blunt about it. It's a rip-off. So a 25% commission is really hurting the our food entrepreneurs.
The goose that lays the golden eggs, yun yung hurt, no? Yung
Yeah.
restaurant ang tinatamaan.
Oo, ang sakit eh. So I know we have to help each other. So I think so this is a panawagan to them. So yeah, so that's and then one last is tip, no? Combo question. So this is my tip, no? If you wanted to really succeed in this, only 3 lang. A great marketer should have a good sense of balance. So I actually learned this from Lars Peterson himself. He always tells me about this. So always balance creativity with clarity. When you make an artwork, a simple artwork, it has to sell. It's not all about creativity, no. And the message has to be clear. And balance logic and magic. He always says that. Logic is it operationally feasible? Does your operations mahihirapan ba sila sa gusto mong gawin? Di ba? So, lagi mong tatanungin yan. Me, I came from operations, so I know. So, during rollouts in Pizza Hut or even in Maxis or in my clients now, I make sure na hanggang pati pag-punch sa POS, timed yan, na may logic dyan. And before magic comes. So, it has to be logical first before the marketing magic comes. And
Art
then
and science.
yes, it's an art and science. So, and then balance brand equity with business profits. It's not all about that. Yes, there's an investment for brand. I get you. But at the end of the day, this is not a charity institution. It has to have a business profit rolled into one. So, a great marketer kasi it's all, there's a misconception or a myth that marketeers are just creative creatures. No, I think we should develop that marketeers are scientists as well. And marketeers are also math wizards. So I'm not good in math, as I said, but I've came to love numbers because I need it. And I think when I present something to my boss, my COO, it's easier that you start with a number, and that how much would that campaign bring me money, or diba, the profits of that, diba? So and it kasi that's the first. If you start with numbers, it's easy for you to convince na. So that's my number 1 tip. Always start with number and not all mga bola-bola. So there. So that's my 3 simple tips to be a great marketer, and it can also be applied to be for entrepreneurs. So there.
Michelle,
Ayun.
puno,
So, I think
puno ba ang notebook mo ngayong gabi?
Oo, actually, nag-ano nga ako eh. Hindi ko na malaman kung saan ko siya may susulat. Kasi na concise si Edgar yung yung even the 20 years, yung 30-year master plan niya na ilagay niya in a matter of an hour. So, hitik na hitik siya talaga. So,
Actually, may nagtatanong dito kung saan daw nabibili ang 30-year master plan.
I know!
Where can I get a copy of this master plan? Ayan.
I think on its own, you can even offer that as a service to guide people, as a calling.
To guide people, as a calling. Galing. No? Sige,
Actually,
share.
yung tanong ko nga kanina, hinahanap ko sa master plan niya, buti hindi siya kinuha to run for office. Kasi wala siya sa master plan eh. Okay.
Politika.
So, I know. Kasi ang ganda ng plano, if only, So, I'll go straight to the top 3 takeaways, Coach.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, the first point is yung ating commitment to excellence, where you define your limitations and the path you want to take.
Okay.
And then the second one is find your ikigai. So, visualize your goal, make a framework, and plan with clarity according to that.
Nice.
And then our third one is, gusto-gusto ko to kasi na-summarize niya talaga, both for marketing as well as for advertising. Balanced marketing is creative and clear, logical and magical, and balanced brand equity with business profit.
Yan. Napakagandang episode po, at syempre bibigyan natin yung pagkakataon ng ating napaka-gracious na bisita. No? Maraming salamat sa oras mo, Edgar. And sige, please address the audience, no? Kung ano yung gustong sabihin sa kanila, something that is babaunin nila sa kanilang pagtulog para nakangiti silang matutulog mamayang gabi. Yeah.
Yes. Final words. I protect your dream. You are the engineer, the architect of your life. So you're responsible to it. It's not the other people. So, but of course, again, success is a function of yourself and the people around you. So you have to, you have to be good at people, be kind always. And yeah, always put family first. So that's my last words to all of you guys.
Maraming salamat, brother. Ha? Talagang inspirational. Tugma-tugma, ano siya?
Very
Inspire
much.
the heart, no? Empower the mind, and equip the hands. Kompleto po tayo. At dyan po, no, papakita natin, siyempre, nagtatapos tayo parati sa ating resto quote. Parang no, tailor fit. No? Napakaganda po ng ating resto quote, nababagay sa ating bisita. No? Sabi diyan, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Kasi kanina binanggit po ni Edgar Allan, no, yung kanyang visuals, no, na parati niyang nakikita mula sa kanyang Catleya, no, Catleya notebook, filler, no, yung mga walang pambili nung mismong may takip, yun ang binibili namin nung araw, no. Ako nga, sa blue book lang ako nagsusulat, no. At natutuwa ako, fellow, ko to, no, State University, to, no. So maraming salamat, talagang nasa instinct natin yung magbalik sa bayan. Ano? At yan nga, no? Set the goals. And sa kanya, paano niya sinet yung goals? Nilagay niya pa sa master plan. No? Nakaka-inspire. So again, no, it's very important to turn the invisible into the visible. I totally agree with Edgar, protectionan niyo po ang inyong mga pangarap. No? Sapagkat kung buong-buo ang inyong vision, hindi naman po kayo madi-discourage ng kahit ano pang, sino pang tao at ano pa mang unos or challenges ang dumating sa buhay. And with that, no, magandang gabi po at paalam sa inyong lahat. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep your wings up. Thank you very much po. God bless.
Thank you, Chet. Thank you, Mr. Romero.
Thank you. Thanks, Edgar.
Good night.